What have you learned about love, if anything?
Whoa. Okay. What have I learned about love?
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing for me in terms of like romantic love
Yeah.
is you should never plan something with someone, planning like to get in a relationship or like thinking, oh, I want them to be my boyfriend or girlfriend based on their potential. Like you should always love them as they are already.
You briefly talked to me about that yesterday, and that was something I really struggled with and we just heard about a friend who his girlfriend had broken up with him because she basically believed that their 2 life paths would be different in the future. And then a couple months later, her vision for her own future wasn't fulfilled. And she was like, I wish I had stayed with my boyfriend. And I had the opposite thing where I would like refrain from letting myself be too into my girlfriend, my ex-girlfriend, because I thought like, oh, I'm going to drop out of school and I'm going to travel the world and like, this probably won't work out. And the thing is not if your thoughts are right or wrong, but I think, like you said, when you get to a point where you're planning or you're living in the future, no one knows what your future is. We don't even know what tomorrow is, we can assume that we'll be here. But who knows? Maybe someone's going to say, let's go take a road trip and be somewhere. So if you don't even know what tomorrow is, who are you to plan in your relationship or think
Exactly.
that you know the future?
It's also unfair to date someone or get into a relationship with someone expecting them to change. It's like it's not fair to them, in my opinion. Nor is it healthy to you because then you have this expectation of someone and they don't live up to those expectations. It's not fair to either of you guys.
Yeah. One time me and Chris on the low never boasted this, but we used to go knock on mansions in San Diego and film podcasts with mansion owners. And one guy who was like an 80-year-old grandpa told us, we asked him for advice about love. He said, do you guys know yourself? And at the time I said, no, not really. And it wasn't that I wasn't confident. I was just like, I was answering from the perspective of I'm pretty young, so I'm pretty sure my perception of myself is going to change. And Chris said the same thing, and he said, well, if you don't know yourself, how are you possibly going to pick the right person? But I don't know how I feel about that, because part of me is like, damn, you're so right. Like, why would I even care about finding a partner right now when I'm in a phase of completely changing year over year? But the other part of me is like, yeah, but that pattern is going to continue for the rest of life. So you can't just have some age in mind where it's going to work out. What are your thoughts on that?
I feel like relationships... Oh, oops. I feel like it's best in a relationship when you grow together.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to completely know everything about yourself, but you should have, or you probably have an idea of what you want to get better at. And I feel like your partner isn't there to serve as that purpose, but help grow with you. And that's the biggest thing that I really try to strive for in my relationships is whether you both can grow together or if I can grow with someone.
Yeah, that's interesting. Have you ever done the 5 types of love test or whatever?
Love languages?
Yeah.
Yes.
What is your love language?
Okay. Quality time.
Yeah.
Physical touch. Like I love hugs and like hand holding, things like that. Like it just like calms me a lot. And acts of service is a huge one as well. Those are my main 3.
I low-key have a gripe with the system. I have 2 gripes with the system. I've probably asked like 50 people this question, and the answers do vary, but there's 2 things that stay consistent. Is almost always people include physical touch, and almost never people include gift giving. And I think that my gripe with the system is that physical touch is such an easy answer, because if you're with a romantic partner, it's like the only person you're physical with. So it's like, who's going to be with a romantic partner and be like, I don't like physical touch? And I have had like 1 in 50 people be like, oh, I hate physical touch. But I feel like one of the flaws of that test is that physical touch is such an appealing answer for so many reasons.
Mm-hmm.
So almost everyone includes it. And then gift giving is such an unappealing answer because even though it's a kind thing to do, it almost feels like a selfish thing. Like my love language is getting gifts. It's like,
I don't think so. I mean, I could say I love gift giving as well.
Yeah.
Like, you know, getting each other food or
Yeah.
buying someone flowers. Like, I think that's all like incorporated into the act
Yeah.
of gift giving as a love language.
I don't know. This is just what I've noticed. And
Mm-hmm.
I just think that,
Do you think it's is your gripe with physical touch that like that's just like a no-brainer?
my gripe is that, yeah, it's too no-brainer. And it's the same thing with like gift giving. The way you explain it, you're right. But I think the term gift giving, it's like you have all these other ones that sound so like fun or selfless. It's like quality time, physical touch, and then it's just gift giving.
Oh, there's words of affirmation.
Words of
I forgot about that one.
So I think I did the test once, and mine was physical touch number 1, and then words of affirmation. I think an interesting thing to talk about is I think that most creators will be more likely to have words of affirmation because if you're a serious creator, your whole life is creating for the internet. And I think a lot of people start off creating for validation. It's like, or they can be passionate about something and they can create art, but like ultimately you wouldn't even post your art to the internet if you didn't want someone to like, be impacted or say something about it.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's a trend, then naturally words of affirmation is so appealing because like when you're posting videos or podcasts or music, you're like what you want is people to like it. And so I did think the words of affirmation was quite fitting.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think though with physical touch that it's such a spectrum because almost everyone I talk to says they love physical touch, but I'm like, this is gonna sound so stupid, but I'm like, you don't love it as much as me. Like I literally touch, I touch everyone. I touch all my friends all the time, and I'm like, there's just such a.
You said you don't like physical touch as much as I like physical touch.
I touch everyone all the time, to the point where people are like, dude, stop touching me. I touch my guy friends. I touch my. Yeah, I mean, I sound like weird right now, but I literally touch everyone all the time. So I'm like.
I mean, it can be as simple as like
Yeah.
shoulder taps or I don't
Yeah.
know, things like that. So now I understand.
I love touch, but